You probably know the struggle. That constant itching, the stinky ears, that corn chip smell coming from their paws. You know how frustrating dog yeast infections can be. You go to the vet, you get the treatment, it clears up, and then, boom, a few weeks later, it's right back where you started. And that's the real kicker, isn't it? That's the question that drives us all nuts. Why does it keep coming back? It feels like you're stuck in this endless loop, just trying to put out fires without ever actually finding out what's starting them. So naturally, you hop online looking for answers, and you are just bombarded with miracle cures. Well, in this explainer, we are going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to take the most common home remedies and see what the actual hard evidence has to say about them. And we have to start with the number one recommendation you see everywhere. I mean, you can't type dog yeast infection into a search bar without someone telling you to use apple cider vinegar. Now, the theory kind of makes sense, right? The acetic acid in ACV is supposed to create an acidic environment on the skin that yeast can't survive in. And look, in a Petri dish, in a controlled lab setting, yeah, it can kill yeast. But here is the critical difference. That's in vitro. There are 0 clinical trials that prove this actually works on a living, breathing dog with a real infection. And here's where it goes from just being ineffective to being potentially harmful. Think about it. Your dog's skin is already inflamed. It's raw. The barrier is broken. Pouring acid on that, it can cause incredible stinging, chemical irritation, and actually make the whole situation way, way worse. So, our verdict on using apple cider vinegar is pretty clear. The evidence is weak, to be generous. And honestly, the risk of causing more pain and damage just isn't worth it. It's a pass from us. All right, so ACV is out. But what about the other big one you see? Just smearing plain yogurt on the itchy spots? You know, it's got probiotics, so it's got to be good for them, right? Well, this remedy, it fails on so many levels. It's almost funny. First off, the probiotics in your yogurt are for human guts, not a dog's skin. Second, the dose, the actual number of good bacteria, is way too low to do anything. But the real kicker is the last point. Yogurt has lactose. That's a sugar. You would literally be feeding the yeast. You're smearing its favorite food directly onto the infection. And this brings us to the most important point of this whole conversation. All these topical remedies, ACV, yogurt, you name it, they're just chasing symptoms on the surface. To actually stop these infections from coming back again and again, we have to go deeper. We have to address the real root cause. And 9 times out of 10, that root cause is something called gut dysbiosis. It's basically an imbalance in the gut microbiome. When the gut is out of whack, the immune system gets compromised. And when the immune system can't do its job, it loses the ability to keep the body's natural yeast in check. So, that itchy skin and those stinky ears, that's just the alarm bell. The fire is in the gut. And just to show you how connected these things are, get this. A whopping 70 to 80% of your dog's entire immune system is located right there in the gut. 70 to 80%. That means you cannot solve a chronic immune problem like a yeast overgrowth without first fixing what's going on inside. okay? So now that we know the problem starts from the inside, let's talk about what the research actually says works. Let's build our evidence-backed toolkit. And the absolute foundation, the cornerstone of this whole approach, is probiotics. Their job is to restore that balance in the gut and get the immune system back online. But, and this is so important, not just any probiotic will do. You need canine-specific strains that are actually proven to work in dogs. So, unlike the internet myths we just talked about, using the right kind of probiotics isn't just a guess. It is strongly supported by scientific evidence as a way to address the root cause of chronic yeast. Now, while the probiotics are helping the immune system rebuild, we also need to go on the attack against the yeast that's already overgrown. And a great tool for that is caprylic acid. It's a fatty acid that works by literally punching holes in the cell walls of the yeast organisms, causing them to die. It's pretty cool. Now, a lot of people hear this and think, oh, I'll just give my dog some coconut oil. But this is a really important distinction to make. See, whole coconut oil is only about 6 to 8% caprylic acid. You'd have to feed your dog a massive, stomach-upsetting amount to get any real yeast-killing benefit. You need it in a concentrated supplement form to actually be effective. And we can add another 1-2 punch to our toolkit with these compounds from oregano oil, carvacrol, and thymol. Research shows these are incredibly powerful antifungals. They don't just kill yeast, they also help break down something called biofilm, which is this nasty, slimy shield that yeast builds to protect itself from treatments. But please hear this. This comes with a huge safety warning. Never, ever apply undiluted essential oils like oregano oil directly to your dog's skin, or even just drop it in their food. It is way too powerful, and it can cause serious chemical burns. It has to be in a professionally formulated, pet-safe supplement. No DIY-ing this one. Okay, so we've got our tools, right? We have the probiotics to rebuild the gut, and we have the natural antifungals to kill the yeast. Now the magic happens when we assemble them all into a single layered strategy for real, lasting relief. We're going to hit it from 3 sides. Step 1, restore the gut's balance and immune function with probiotics. Step 2, at the same time, kill the yeast that's already there with those powerful antifungals. And step 3, starve the yeast of its fuel by cutting way back on the starch and sugars in your dog's diet. This is the complete 5-layer stack. You've got the internal work, gut health, antifungals, and diet. Then while that's all happening, you use proper topical care, like a good medicated shampoo, to keep your dog comfortable. And the last layer, maybe the most important, consistency. This is not a quick fix. You need to give it a solid 6 to 12 weeks to see real, lasting change. So you see, the big idea here is to completely change your mindset. The goal isn't just to treat the infection that's flaring up right now. The real goal is to fix the underlying problems so that these infections barely ever happen in the first place. So that's what we want to leave you with.